Hello, everybody, and welcome to Destiny
Uh,
2 Dungeons Ranked on a tier list with my good friend here, Corey.
Hello.
Happy holidays 2022. We're
Yes.
gonna we're gonna enjoy the holidays by ranking.
Make, making a tier list of the best Destiny 2 dungeons.
Yeah, and everyone knows that they're all the best. It's just which one's bester and which one's the
Bester and
bestest.
worster.
The bester and the bestest,
Yes.
which rhymes with asbestos, which is not good for you.
Asbestos is not good for your system, no. Kids do not do asbestos.
Yes. Okay. You want to
Alright.
give your ranking first, or
Yeah, sure.
okay?
I'll do my ranking first and then you can do your ranking. So we have these beautiful rankings here. Um, Personally, I'm going to put Prophecy up here in the smell of grandma's cookies. It just gives me that good vibe, you know. It's a good time all the way through, except for, during the boss fight. It's not fun.
It's a lot of ads. It definitely gets. It seems like a uh, a sharp increase in difficulty.
Yeah, definitely definitely really tricky. Um and the my least favorite dungeon is Duality. Only because I don't like any of the boss fights.
Okay.
Um, it's just like I like the mechanics and everything. I just don't like how if you die, you get left behind. If you're playing with people, you just get left behind.
Oh yeah, yeah, I do agree.
Yeah, you can just get left behind, and then the boss the oh, spoiler warning for people who haven't played any of these dungeons yet or played Destiny at all. Spoilers. Um, but I also don't like the Keitel boss fight simply because of just how it's done. Because you can die every second of every day, and there's hardly any cover anywhere. So,
I feel like unless I practice a lot more, I have to use Trinity Ghoul to stay alive. Like I
yeah,
don't
you have
have
to
any other options.
you have to use either a really good ad clearing weapon or just have a super high resilience
hmm
and like mobility and stuff.
Or be Hunter and Invis everywhere.
Yeah, just be a hunter. Um, but let's see. I really like these dungeons. I don't want to give them bad rankings, but I'm gonna put the smell of burnt bacon. I'm gonna put grasp of avarice right at the smell of burnt bacon because like it's got that good smell, but it's also kind of like, oh, that's the smell of burnt bacon, and I'm gonna have burnt bacon, right? Because like it's funny. It's a funny. It came from a meme, but like also there's traps and tricks every which way, and you never know when you're gonna die.
Right, right.
Um, Personally, I don't like the parkour in that one.
Which part in particular?
Just all of it. All of the parkour is just awful because you have to have for Titans you have to have lion ramparts, lion
Rampants.
rampants, not ramparts. Sorry,
It's okay.
rampants.
I
I've been
forgive you.
talking to many incorrect Destiny players.
Like
It's rampant.
what's a rampart? Lions, they go rampant. Yeah,
Or
that's
ram pants.
rampants. That's true. It's true.
Yeah. Um, I don't know how Bungie tell me how to pronounce it, but I want to say it's ram pants. But
Bungie will definitely see this video. Luke Smith himself will see this video, and
100.
I'd like to apologize. This dungeon, this exotic is called Ramparts, but I put it in as Rampants, and that's on me. And you can give me the blame for that. And and then what he'll do is just take the blame for every single thing. And
Yeah,
then and then he'll leave the Destiny 2 and go on to Bungie board
but me too.
and take all the problems with him, which is why Destiny is the best it's ever is right now, and no one could say otherwise. There's no problems. No, there's no problems. What are you talking? Microtransactions. Just shush, 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 shush. No problems. No
No
problems.
issues, no problems, nothing. Everything's fine. All right. Pit of Heresy is gonna go uh, right up here in the smell of burnt bacon. I really like Pit of Heresy. I really do. It's just like, eh. It's a meh. It's meh.
Okay. Okay.
Like it's good, but it's meh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna
Like,
say about Pit of Heresy.
well,
I like it, but it's meh.
is it just some encounters overall, or they all have the same level of meh?
They all just have the same level of meh. Like it's not a very memorable dungeon, if you know what I mean.
Okay, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so right up here with the smell of grandma's cookies. Or no. The best smell your nose can possibly perceive.
Shattered Throne, really?
Pre pre the fixing of the Infinite Thrall Hall, this is the best dungeon. Before they fixed the Thrall Hall, I really liked uh, just doing this dungeon and just getting 1,000 kills in that Thrall Hall. Because you could go there and just get all of your exotic catalysts done in a day. And that was it. It was fun. I loved it.
Right.
And I have some of the most memorable like inside jokes from Shattered Throne, probably. Because it's good for Huckleberry. Just super great. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
And it's not for those who aren't looking for a lot of mechanics. It's the least mechanically complicated dungeon because it was the first dungeon.
Right. It's super easy. Now, I'm going to put this one in the smell of grandma's cookies. This is a good raid. Or not raid, dungeon. I like this dungeon a lot. I really, really enjoyed it. I the only I we did it blind and we had no prior experience or anything in this.
Right.
And
All I knew was all we knew is what I knew that I told you is that I think it had Vex. It was on Mars. It was gonna be kind of short, and that's it.
yeah, that's all we knew. Um, but I really definite spoiler alerts for this one. I really enjoyed the circuitry. I liked the circuit aspect of it.
That mechanic,
Um,
that was, yeah.
yeah, I really like that. Trying to find where all the nodes were. I liked. It was a good challenge. Definitely, the boss was hard. The mind or what was the con? Wait,
No, oh, I don't remember its name.
I know Persis was the last boss.
The consecrated mind ripoff.
Yeah,
It
I
looks
don't
like
know who.
the consecrated mind, but it had a different name.
Yeah, he had the same mechanics essentially as the consecrated mind. You just had to do the nodes each circuit before you did the eyes and did the damage. Then
Right, like in Guard of Salvation, you'd have to deposit motes to get him to the relay, and then other people would have to distract the boss. But in this case, all you have to do is do the circuitry to guide him to the last circuitry, and then this is where it would be the same as as Garden. You shoot a bunch of eyes on his face, and that starts damage. But then he has this knockback effect, which I wasn't expecting at the end of damage, and it really
yeah,
hurts.
it hurts and then it launches you a mile away.
Yeah. We
And
found
if you don't land on the catwalk, you're dead basically.
yeah. we found cover that protected you from that, but we were at level for that encounter. We were above the recommended level, and it still almost got us to no health.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a tough one.
So Shattered Throne is your favorite, Duality is your least favorite.
Yeah. I enjoy Grasp of Avarice and Pit of Heresy. Like I enjoy doing these. It's just like they don't give you exotics either.
Pit of Heresy
Y-
was, well, technically they're both part of quest exotics. Pit of Heresy was part of the Xenophage quest,
That's right. Yeah, I forgot that.
and
And then Grasp of Avarice was part of
Galahorn.
Galahorn. Yeah.
It's a big one. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
other
You also
ones,
got the Galahorn ornament from here.
that's true. And the other Prophecy didn't have Prophecy is the only one here that doesn't have an exotic associated with it.
Yeah. And that's why it's in Smell of Grandma's Cookies. I love this. I love this dungeon because Rainbow Road is amazing.
Can I ask you something
I
about
really,
Duality quickly?
yeah.
What was your opinion on it when we first did it?
I liked it when we first did it, but when we got to Keitel, the boss battle with Keitel, I was just, I was so frustrated the whole time.
Mhm.
Just super not enjoying it. I, I was kind of, I didn't really understand the other mechanics, but now I do. Like for the other boss battles, I didn't really understand the mechanics for him, but now I do. Well, which kind of makes it a little better, but it's still like I don't enjoy it all that much. The only reason I'll do it is for the exotic,
It's fair,
the
yeah.
chance of an exotic.
Yeah, I think I still need the exotic from it.
Yeah.
And then
So
if
do you wanna rank them now?
sure, yeah, yeah.
All right, let's reset this. Alrighty. Where would you put duality?
Duality. When I first did that dungeon, when we first did it, I said, "Oh, this is the best dungeon. It's got cool mechanics." But now, no, what are you
Hold
doing
on,
to the?
I gotta fix the colors.
Okay.
They're in the wrong order. It's bothering me. Oop. Okay.
Okay, that's better. Yeah. So I still think the mechanics are good. The bosses are interesting. Like the actual who the bosses are interesting. I don't like how unforgiving the mechanics for the final boss is for Keitel. For damage phase, she books it to one of the bells, and if you don't kill the bell keepers quick enough, and you're split up, and if you're doing this solo, you gotta deal with 6 bell keepers, and you don't know which one she's going to first.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put
for
that
sure.
one at the smell of a sweaty hippo covered in bird poop. I think I was gonna put it in the smell of burnt bacon, but when you reiterated the point about if someone dies, you can't go back and res them, and they're stuck there until someone gets the next encounter. And when you're dead for 45 seconds. This is true for all the dungeons, but I think it hurts the most here because there's a lot of vertical climbing and then moving in and out of the nightmare dimension.
Dimension, yeah.
Yeah, that's not easy to coordinate with the
No.
people who are behind.
Yeah, and if you're behind, you don't get to get the secrets that are along the way.
Yeah.
Like I know there's some like memory fragments, I think it is,
Yeah, yeah.
that you can collect along the way while traversing the nightmare realm. And if you die, you don't get to get those
That's right. You don't get those if you fall behind.
unless you reset and go get them
Yeah.
again.
Or you have
Which is
patient or people up front who will wait for you to catch up.
yeah.
Okay. The
All right.
Grasp of Avarice next.
Yeah. What do you think of Grasp of Avarice?
I don't care for the bosses too much. I don't like their boss encounters. I like the first encounter where there's all the traps, and I like the Sparrow section. But the boss encounters and the second to last encounter where you're trying to take down the fallen shield,
Right.
I find those long and tedious.
Yeah, long and tedious is very agreeable.
I'm going to put that in the smell of burnt bacon
All
because
right.
it's not exactly unbearable. Like
Right. Like
duality can
it's
be a bit more unbearable than the smell of burnt bacon. Than
yeah.
than than grasp of avarice. And
Yeah,
the
I
music I
agree.
think is better. Although I do like the Leviathan aesthetic and Callus's voice in
I do. I agree
duality.
on that. I
Yeah.
also like the premise of duality. I also like the premise of Grasp of Avarice. They both have good premises, but like I don't. They're just not the best.
Yeah. I think duality has a better overall atmosphere and premise, but I think Grasp has the better music.
I agree.
Okay, fair
Favorite
Harrison
Harrison.
next. This one for me goes up and down. Sometimes I like the traps, but then sometimes it's, yeah. I'm gonna say this. I like the final encounter. It's pretty fun. The boss is unique. It's like a charcoal knight. It's like it's the coal color. It's
Have
like
I
black and coal covered. It's on
have I
fire.
finished Heresy?
Yeah, you've done it with me multiple times. You did
We
the
have to
final
do it.
boss.
Yeah, we have to do it again, Reese, sometime soon.
I think it's the pinnacle next week. So on Tuesday reset, it'll be pinnacle. We can do that.
Nice.
I'm gonna put that though at the smell of a sweaty hippo covered in bird poop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 'cause I think right now I'm just not feeling it. It's too much. It's actually, you know what? Bump it up, bump it up. Smell of burnt bacon. I like the boss
All right.
encounter, and the beginning's not unbearable.
That's
Not
fair.
not too bad. The ogres section can be frustrating, but
I agree.
I like the atmosphere, and like I said, I like the final boss design, and it's unique. It only has one boss, while all these other ones have two
Multiple
bosses.
bosses.
Yeah. Prophecy.
All right.
When I first did this one, I loved the aesthetic. I saw the trailer for it, and I was in a good mood. It was the beginning of what ended up being a really great season. Witch Queen was just announced, and I was really excited for that. And the aesthetic is awesome. The music is cool. Ribbon Road is great. The smell of grandma's cookies is where it's gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I totally agree. I loved this dungeon.
The final boss was frustrating until I did it with the until I tried my solo. This is the first one that I tried to solo flawless. I documented all of my failed attempts, and it took me, hold on, let me get my notes. It took me 43 attempts before I did it successfully. The last couple of attempts, after almost a year with no attempts, the last couple of attempts was this past summer when the Titan Exotic Lorelei Splendor was released and then buffed so I could survive easily. And the final boss, besides not having adequate damage, which wasn't terrible, it was just longer. Survival was nice. That was nice, and the mechanic is interesting, even though it's picking up motes, and that's not exactly what's interesting. You're not just banking it. You have to make sure you get the light and dark, and standing in the light and dark. I think that's a good mechanic.
I totally agree. I really enjoyed the cube room.
Oh yeah, and that's with tripping, very trippy, and tricking you with
I
perspective.
like how they don't really like repeat mechanics a whole lot. Or well, I guess they do like repeat mechanics, but like they do it in unique ways. like with the Spire of the Watcher, it kind of repeated the same mechanic in the same way throughout the entire thing, just adding a little bit throughout.
I want to say I want to say Spire changed up more mechanics than Prophecy, because Prophecy, it didn't, it was just light and dark into light and dark pillars the entire time.
Well,
It wasn't the, and then with the Spire, it added the red circuits, the red wires.
it also added more than one, or I guess it added like you're using it to attract the boss, or you're using it to open a door, or you're using it to activate a lift, or whatever.
Right. That's true, true. I mean, I guess the purpose is different, but the actual activating about it is the same. But I think it's not overused. It's unique. No other place really has something like that.
I agree.
Okay, what's next?
Prophecy is a really good dungeon. All right,
Shattered Throne.
Shattered Throne.
This one is not mechanically complex. It is a quick and easy run. Um, if everyone knows what they're doing, bosses are not mechanically difficult unless you're not really paying attention at all. I'm gonna put this one in the best smell your nose can possibly perceive.
Sure.
And also, the story implications are pretty cool. And I started doing the dungeon when it wasn't just a node on the Dreaming City map. It was only available every 3 weeks, and you had to go to a specific hidden part in the Dreaming City to start it. And that was kind of a cool aspect. But I do like that it's available all weeks now. Much more convenient. And I like the final boss design of Dueling Karu. He doesn't really look like a normal wizard. He's different. And then he's got his giant three Taken Knights with him.
I really do enjoy the boss fight for this dungeon. It's probably one of my favorites because you have these three massive hulking dudes with giant swords just slowly walking at you while you have such a tiny space to work with. It's very like up in your face, and you gotta think, you gotta do enough damage.
Just a little quiet. Could talk closer to the mic.
Yes, I can talk a little closer to the mic.
That's good. That's good.
Um, but yeah, I really like this um, dungeon. It's great.
Okay. Spire of the Watcher. I Mars was my second favorite destination. I was upset it got removed. It had my favorite track, soundtrack, which was A God on Mars. It was the title music during Destiny 2, the minor expansion, Warmind. No, not it's not going there. It's not going in red. Um, I really like the Warmind aesthetic. I enjoyed the design of all the encounters and boss rooms. I like that you start by outside the spire. You go through what looked like a field of what reminded me of the Matrix, like the field of human bodies and as the batteries. That's what
Oh
like
yeah.
a beginning reminded me of. And then you ascend outside the spire, and then I'm at the top, and then I feel like we're at the end, and I was expecting a short and sweet dungeon, and we defeat the Consecrated Mind ripoff, and then we're not done. We go down for more mechanics introduced, and then a new encounter, which was difficult, but hopefully won't be as difficult later, and its DPS isn't as frustrating as Keitel's um, in in Duality. And Corey, can you guess where I'm gonna put it?
I think you're gonna put it in the smell of grandma's cookies.
I'm gonna put it in the best smell your nose can possibly perceive.
Really?
Yeah, I like on and also the I haven't seen all the loot, but I like that it's Tex Mechanica themed because that's the manufacturer of the Huckleberry weapon, which is my favorite exotic, and it had the Warmind music playing in the background. Like it had the Warmind melody. It wasn't the exact track I know I like, but I like the melody. Now,
Yeah.
I said Duality was like the best dungeon without really thinking about it when I first did it. I wonder if my opinion of this one will drop because right now I have Duality as my least favorite, which
Yeah,
I don't hate it. I just don't
I don't
overly
hate,
like it.
don't like it.
Um, yeah, but like comparing the final boss battles, getting to the damage phase is difficult because the enemies are really, really tough, but during damage. But but there's really no timer. In Duality, every time you're in the Nightmare Realm, there's a timer, and you're being sniped from all directions. There's not a lot of cover. In Spire, there's cover, there's not really a timer, so you can take it at your own pace, and during damage, damage itself is not very stressful. There is a little mechanic during damage, but it's not the worst mechanic. It's something that you've already been doing, and it's not under a super tight. It is under a time constraint, but not a super tight one.
Right, and duality is, or not duality, but Spire of the Watcher is like not stressful. It's just laid back. You're enjoying it with your buddy, just
Yeah.
kind of doing it. And then duality is like, oh my god, I have no time to be friends with you right now. We're being killed constantly,
Both
and
of
we're
them
being dominated over and over and over again.
both of them have the same level of difficulty of enemies, but one has cover and less time, no, more time, so less time constraints is what I meant. And the other has barely any cover and more time constraints.
Yeah, just duality is not formatted the best.
So right now, I'm gonna say, yeah, Spire. I'm gonna say I think is my favorite. I'm gonna run it a few more times though to see where it's at. Shattered Throne's next. Prophecy is a very close third, but the combat at the boss can be annoying sometimes. And then I think Grasp and Pit of Heresy are tied. Yeah.
Okay.
Any final comments?
Nope.
Okay. Well, this has been a Worldwide Dylan Destiny 2 dungeon ranking. If you don't play Destiny 2, I would recommend it, but it's not very friendly to new players because it kind of throws you into the story. There was a much better time to there was a much better time to do join the game when there was more stuff as a new player, but now there's not as much. So even though the game is in a pretty good state, it's not um, it's not it's not too friendly to new players. But I won't hurt you if you decide to try it. The gameplay is fun.
I will. I'll hurt you. It's a good game.
Yeah. Well, all right. Anything else to
Well,
say?
thank you guys. Thank you for watching.
Yeah,
We should
thanks.
do more Worldwide Dylan episodes,
Maybe.
videos.
We'll see. We'll see. Hey,
It'll be fun.
all 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 10,000 of you. I bet there's 10,000. Oh no, no, no. There's like negative 12. All negative 12 and a half of you who wants to see more Worldwide Dylan videos.
You have people
Co-
below.
Comment below, like the video, subscribe. Make sure to check out my Patreon at Nicolas Cage versus ChristopherWalken.com.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.